before I dive into the talk, I'm going to just, I like a minute to go off topic and off format for a bit. And thank you all for having me here. Because for me, the strongest force behind man over matter is the sense of gratitude and gratefulness one must feel so that we all stay relevant for the longest time. In a broader sense, what I want to say is thank you all very much for the continued love you've shown me, you and your parents since Swabhiman. And of course, I hope I'm around to see the love of your children in the years to come. Okay, thank you. So straight to the talk, I've been associated with the performing arts for more than 3 decades now. I debuted, I guess most of you weren't born when I debuted. It was in a show called Swabhiman, which was in 1995. It was written by Shobha and directed by Mahesh Bhatt. This is the show that changed the face of television, since we are talking about the changing face of entertainment. Today, Indian TV programming is as it is because of Swabhiman. It was the first daily soap of India, and I'm very, very glad and I'm proud that I was part of that first big change. Almost 3 years hence, here I am delivering this TEDx talk. It's because I survived. I survived the changes. I survived all the things, the highs and lows. And what's fun is that a rank outsider survived it all. I've seen pretty much what there is to see, at least till now. Moving from cinema to television, from television back to cinema, going on to OTT, doing all of that while hanging on to my first love, which you all know for an actor is theatre. And what happened is, I decided very early on in life that I will not let the change affect me. Mind over matter. It's about keeping yourself relevant, and you'll hear this word from me a lot of times. Relevant is very, very important. It's about discovery, it's about change, it's about adapting to newer modes, newer methods, newer forms of entertainment. Above all, it's about holding on to your passion, and that passion will keep you plugged in and updated with all these changes happening around you. And it's not just for actors or technicians, it's for everybody. Well, the actor in me kept adapting, kept changing formats, like I said, cinema, television, OTT, theatre, and I kept learning through all these processes. And I think this learning stops only when you hang your boots. And I'm not planning to do that anytime soon. So in 1995, the show Swabhiman hit the Indian television screens. I was termed as the first heartthrob of Indian television. I'm going a little pink, but I have to tell you about this. Rishabh Malhotra, the character I played, became synonymous with a lot of first crushes. Believe it or not, this was before the age and era of social media, so we'd actually get letters, love letters written in blood. I'm not talking about myself. I want to tell you why I'm saying all these things to you. With the love and adulation I received then, my obvious next step was cinema, right? We all want to be part of larger-than-life entertainment, and that's what I did. I did a couple of really good films, films like Shootout and Lokhandwala and Kaabil. They worked, they were big successes. But, you know, of course I rode on that success for a long time, but an unexpected thing happened in 2014. Believe it or not, and every time I used to give an interview, people would say, "Sir, ab next kya kar rahe ho?" And I used to say, "I'm out of work." That's what happened. Even after a big film, in 2014, I was completely out of work in cinema. I don't know why, but maybe I didn't like the roles which were coming my way, and I had to go back to television. So from experience, I want to tell you guys that always hold on to that one thing that you're good at. A lot of people told me that, "Arey yaar, abhi TV karega." You know, it's looked as a coming down of sorts once you've done cinema. But I call it adjustment. It was just the calm before the storm. And the storm did come. Right after that, I did a film, a huge action film with John Abraham called Mumbai Saga. And I had a lot of riding on it because that success would have catapulted me to the next level. And guess what happened? COVID happened. And unfortunately, Mumbai Saga didn't release in theatres. It went straight to OTT. And so the success or the failure didn't really make any difference to my career. What I learned is even a big thing like Mumbai Saga sometimes doesn't help you. So you should always be ready for the next. At this point, what happened is that a lot of us professionals, actors, everybody, a lot of them withered away because they didn't know what to do. A lot of them didn't want to reinvent. But an equal sizable number reinvented themselves, found out new innovative ways to further their careers. And hopefully, I was one of them. This is when my next reinvention happened. Again, it's about mind over matter. You know, I started, it's amazing, I had never made a reel in my life. You know reels, obviously all of you know reels. So I had never made a reel on Instagram. That's when I started making reels from home. I started following a few influencers. I was clueless how to do it, so I followed influencers, see, kind of stuff they were putting out. I started putting out small, interesting videos about my workout at home, about riding my bikes when the lockdown kind of relaxed a bit, about my family, general stuff like that. The other thing I did, I started writing because I had so much time and so much focus. I started writing my script. I even started writing a book. None of these things I had ever done in my life. And what followed was amazing. I'd like to share that with you. I was probably the first actor to get signed in. Lots of those greeting apps had come. Fan Park, this, that, and the other. I think I was the first actor to get signed for it. And it was wonderful because I signed about 15 brand endorsements in a single calendar year. And I don't think I've signed 15 endorsements in my entire career. Big ones for, automobiles and for GNC and this and that. You can clap later. I love that. And now, of course, I'm producing and directing the script that I wrote in the first lockdown. So these are the things that happened. What I'm trying to tell you is that a film actor at that point, a lot of us could have said, no, yaar, I'm an actor. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do Instagram. I don't need to do reels. But had I done that, I would have missed out on all these wonderful new opportunities. And I would have stayed irrelevant in the new engagement. Instagram. Instagram's been big all over the world. But now, in India, it's become this huge behemoth of entertainment. So it's not like you're an actor in film, so you can't entertain people through Instagram. And I learned that, and I'm very, very happy. And of course, I would have lost crores of rupees had I not reinvented myself at that time. When I did all these things, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't know what would come out of it. So I didn't do it with a plan. I was just telling somebody here that, I've never had a plan B in my life. I'm digressing from the topic, but for me, I give my all to plan A. And sometimes plan A doesn't work, but he's got a better plan. So that's why no plan B for me. Anyway, what I did in that time is I didn't stop. I kept learning, I kept adapting, I kept reinventing, and that's what's held me in good stead throughout my career. And then, of course, everything changed for everyone, even the biggest film stars. The way entertainment is consumed in India and the world over changed drastically. OTT became the new buzzword. People started binging on shows, films, docudramas, etc. For almost 2 years, the biggest stars sat at home. No content was created because nothing was happening. And now people tried to do different things. They were trying to figure out ways to shoot in confined places like their own homes, their buildings. Your neighbor suddenly became your best friend. You actually got to know the name of your neighbor's dog, And since I'd already been shooting for these reels and other content on Instagram, I went a step further. I shot 5 short films from the confines of my home. Obviously, I was there. I wrote some, I directed some. I am an actor, but my wife, Mansi Joshi Roy, she's also an award-winning actor. So we said, why don't we put our forces together and create some credible content? And that's what we did. We shot 5 films at home, and then everything was about love. Me and Mansi played 5 different characters in all the films, and we put it together. It was called Locked in Love. Locked, obviously, because we were locked up, and love, because thankfully I was still in love with my wife. So, yeah, because I know. During the COVID lockdown, a lot of people... So anyway, we did very well with that effort, and if I remember correctly, in IMDb, the first week of telecast, we rated 9.4, which is not an easy task if you follow IMDb ratings. I also shot a film, incidentally, at that time. Thank you very much. I also shot a film, and this was amazing because my scenes, my portions were shot in my house. So either my daughter or my wife would shoot my scenes, and my co-actor was sitting in another house, miles away. She was shooting her parts. All the material was being sent to an editor who was sitting in some third house, and that's how we made a film. So people now started wondering, okay, things are changing, we have to adapt, reinvent, and stay relevant. So not only the way to consume entertainment changed, but the way we shoot, that also changed. This was a learning curve for most of us, and I'm very, very happy that I stayed ahead of the curve. Okay, the biggest thing according to me that came out in this phase for me personally was that script that I had written. Now all that, so you can either get lonely because of that lockdown, or you can get inventive. The script that I wrote has got such great reactions, and now I told you that I'm already producing, acting and directing the show that I wrote for OTT. So these two magical things happen. Times are changing, and one piece of advice, I hate giving advice and gyan, but piece of advice for all of you. Every couple of decades, things will change. They will turn around their head. You guys are just starting off in life, but be ready for that next curve, because another 20 years, that's going to be changing. And unless you reinvent, you risk being left behind. So keep reinventing. Just keep it in mind. It's not necessary that every day, every morning you say, "Aaj main naya kya karu?" Aisa nahi hai. This is your beginning, and I'm sure that moving forward you'll be very successful, but you'll have to be ready again in a couple of decades, so keep that in mind. Again, I go back to my experiences because I've been through pretty much everything there is to. When I started television, they said film would die, since we are talking about the changing face of entertainment. When films had come in, they said theatre would die. Then with the OTT, now they are saying films and television both will die. But I humbly disagree with this. I feel, I think I was talking to you and I was telling him that there's enough place for all kinds of entertainment. Now, what we have to make sure is the content providers, they have to make sure that they give different kind of content for the different kind of opportunities. What works on cinema might not work on digital content. What works on television might not work on cinema. We've seen all of that. But also, I feel if you keep churning out the good stuff, there is space for everybody. And in a world like this, it's a dog-eat-dog world in the entertainment space. You probably think that the big dog will survive, right? But I think the smart dog, the relevant dog will survive, because he will keep changing with the times. Of course, the big dogs will have a better shot at it. You know, they will have a bigger rope. But in the end, it'll all boil down to that word, reinvent. Which brings me to the other side of the discussion, also very, very important. It's you. I've just finished talking about myself, how I have adapted, how I have changed. What's also changing is the audience, right? Your tastes are changing. What you used to enjoy 5 years back, it's not the same today. Earlier you used to watch films for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Today you're watching 2 hours max. On television, we used to see shows for 1 hour. Today, we are watching shows for 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Everything is changing, and this is where it gets really tricky. The attention span keeps going down rapidly. Tastes are changing, like I said. Today, most content is being viewed on your mobile phones, correct? Earlier, we used to go to theatre, we used to dress up and go out every weekend to watch theatre. We'd sit in a cinema hall, in a dark cinema hall with absolutely random strangers, laughing with them, crying with them, getting scared with them, with absolute strangers. And then with the advent of television, what happened is that it became family viewing. Whoever had the remote control decided what kind of content would come into that household. But today, with OTTs and your phones becoming your personal screens, you and only you decide what you're going to watch. Do you see the difference? It takes a minute to let this sink in. India alone has over 1 billion people with these screens, right? With totally different tastes. So as a content creator, I must give you some entertainment which is good for all of you. So the challenge for all content creators is now to cater to so many different sets of eyes, while making sure that a wide number enjoys that too. It's like saying that make a film like Pathan, for instance, but in a way that can be enjoyed in Kazakhstan, in the North Pole, in Timbuktu, all over. Because now, we are not competing with ourselves. You can see me sitting in any country in the world where you got Amazon Prime, Hotstar, Netflix, all of these. A country like India is obviously a target audience for a movie like Pathan, but only if it is served with similar tastes. You've seen Tom Cruise, you've seen Pathan, they're all similar kind of films. RRR is the flavor of the season, a film which has come from your side. I shouldn't say your side of the country, but down south. So now the only alternative is to either give them big screen entertainment or give them great content which I can view on my mobile phone. Moving forward, like I said, it's a challenge, but I think we are learning, we are adapting, and constantly. As you all know, like I said, the new flavor, this is a question for all of you. Most of you are probably from here. The flavor of the season, we just won 4 awards for them, Critics Award, RRR. Now, how many RRRs can you really make in a year? And how many Rajamoulis are there? So everybody can't do it. What do? Find out what you are best at. As a creator, what are you best at? I like making emotional films. My first film was with Nasir and Shabana. It was an emotional film. That's what I do best. I can't do a war or a Pathan. Know what you are catering. You have to know what food you can cook and give the people. So you already have your target audience in mind. I don't know how many of you from business schools want to go on to become content creators, but I think there is a creator in all of us. So keep that in mind. The days of pleasing everyone, that's long gone. Okay, so all I'm going to say before I sum it up is that it needs a little bit of guts, a little bit of gumption, a whole lot of conviction to do what you want to do. And every time I give a talk like this to young minds like yours, I like to share my life mantra. It's something that has held me in good stead so many years. I call it Jade. Jade, as you know, is a precious stone, and the bearer of Jade always gets growth and prosperity and light. My Jade is, it stands for 4 words actually: jealousy, animosity, duplicity, and empathy. Jealousy, what's the point? Compete with yourself. You got a great car, I don't. Let me compete with myself and become a better version of myself than I was yesterday and buy that car. There's no point in jealousy. Animosity, it's a waste of time. You know, animosity will eat you up and not the guy you feel animus towards. Duplicity, I think is exhausting. All actors supposed to be duplicitous, but I can't be. What you see is what you get. I think it's exhausting. Just be yourself, stay real, be honest. And if you can somehow in your life manage to remove these 3 emotions and get empathy, E, then I can guarantee you that you'll be successful, you'll grow as a human being organically, and you'll be successful not only as a professional, but in your personal life. People will want to come and take a leaf out of your book. And on that note, thank you for having me. It's been great. I wish I had more time.